Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mentivora Pulse. If you are watching this video during your lunch break, on the way home from work, or late at night when your mind is tired from worrying about bills and responsibilities, there is a good chance that you have arrived exactly where you need to be. Not long ago, I was sitting inside a small coffee shop in Los Angeles. Next to me sat an office worker. His white shirt was neatly pressed. A laptop was open in front of him. An Excel spreadsheet filled the screen. His hand moved slowly across the mouse. Click, scroll, click again. Watching him, I suddenly saw myself from a few years ago. I used to be exactly like him, a full-time employee, a hardworking person, someone who believed that if you simply followed the right path, life would eventually reward you. Back then, I studied hard. After graduation, I found a stable job. I saved every dollar I could. I avoided debt. I avoided unnecessary spending. I didn't chase unrealistic dreams. From the outside, everything looked correct. People around me often said, "You're doing everything right." And I believed them. But something strange began to happen. The more correct my life became, the further my dreams seemed to move away. The harder I worked, the more exhausted I felt. The more carefully I climbed the ladder, the more distant success appeared. And eventually I started asking myself a question that many people are afraid to face. If everything I'm doing is right, why am I still going nowhere? Was it because I hadn't worked hard enough? Was it because I needed more patience? Or was it possible that I was walking in the wrong direction, but too polite to stop and turn around? That was the moment I encountered a concept that is not new, but often forgotten. Reverse thinking. Reverse thinking does not mean being reckless. It does not mean rebelling against society, and it does not mean doing the opposite of everyone just to be different. Reverse thinking simply means stopping for a moment, looking carefully at the path in front of you, and asking a question that most people never ask. What if the opposite were true? If the correct path everyone follows does not lead to the life you actually want, could there be another path that very few people are willing to explore? If everyone is doing the same thing, is the real opportunity really in the crowd? This video is not here to promise you overnight wealth. It will not sell you fantasy dreams. It will not tell you that success is easy. This video is simply an invitation to question the old beliefs that may have kept you living an average life for far too long. If you have ever felt like this, you are living correctly, but still struggling financially. You are busy every day, but not moving forward. You are working hard, but something still feels wrong. Then stay with me. And if this idea already resonates with you, consider liking this video and subscribing to Mentivora Pulse. Because in the next part, we are going to uncover an invisible trap that has quietly kept millions of hardworking people stuck inside the comfort zone without even realizing it. Why this trap is so dangerous? There is a very dangerous trap in life. And the reason it is dangerous is not because it is wrong. It is dangerous because it feels too right. People call it many things: living responsibly, following the correct process, doing what society expects, listening to advice from people who came before you, because it sounds so reasonable. Almost nobody questions it. Let me tell you about someone named Michael. If you have ever worked in an office, you probably know someone like Michael. Or perhaps you are Michael. Michael graduated from college with good grades. He works for an international company in Chicago. Every morning he arrives at the office at 8 a.m. Every evening he leaves at 6. When necessary, he stays late. He gets along with coworkers. He does his job well. He never causes trouble. After paying rent, after sending some money back to help his parents, Michael manages to save about $100 every month. Friends often tell him, "You're doing great. You're living responsibly. Your future will be stable." 3 years pass. Michael still lives in the same small apartment. The same old motorcycle still rattles every time he starts the engine. His bank account slowly grows, then shrinks again at the end of each month. Michael does not understand why, and honestly, I didn't understand either, because we were both taught the same formula: study hard, work honestly, save money, avoid risk, don't dream too big. The formula is not wrong, but there is something nobody tells you. This formula helps you survive. It does not necessarily help you rise. I call this trap the trap of being right. When you follow every rule perfectly, you rarely fail dramatically, but you also rarely break free. You live a life that is stable. You are not starving. You are not miserable, but you also never truly accelerate. You are like someone walking perfectly on the correct road without ever asking where the destination actually is. This trap is subtle. It doesn't destroy your life immediately. It simply keeps you average, not poor enough to panic, not rich enough to relax, not uncomfortable enough to change. And because nothing seems obviously wrong, you never question the system. You just tell yourself, if I try a little harder, things will eventually improve. But years pass, and slowly, you grow tired. I call this comfortable exhaustion. It does not kill you, but it quietly ages you inside a safe zone. Meanwhile, out there in the world, some people who once struggled in school are now creating jobs for hundreds of others. Some people once labeled rebellious are now transforming entire industries. Their advantage was not necessarily intelligence, not luck, but a willingness to ask one uncomfortable question. If I am doing everything correctly, why is nothing changing? Is the formula I'm following actually designed to produce the results I want? If I continue like this for 5 more years, who will I become? That is not rebellion, that is awakening. You don't need to slam the table and quit your job tomorrow. You don't need to take reckless risks. You only need to begin with one small action. A quiet doubt, a gentle suspicion. Maybe you are not failing. Maybe you are simply walking in the wrong direction. There is a very familiar paradox in life. Many people work from morning until night. They work without stopping. They work until they are exhausted. Yet when the month ends, their money is almost gone. Meanwhile, there are people who appear to work less. They are not always busy. They do not look stressed. But somehow, they accumulate more. They move further in life, and they carry far less pressure. So the real question is not, how much are you working? The real question is, are you working on the right thing? Or are you simply working to stay busy? Many people confuse being busy with making progress. They believe that as long as they keep moving, as long as they never sit still, success will eventually arrive. But the truth is different. You can run all day and still remain in the same place. You can process 100 orders every single day, yet earn only a few dollars from each one. You can handle 10 different tasks at the same time, but none of them are deep enough for anyone to truly remember you. You can feel extremely tired, but exhaustion does not equal effectiveness. There is an old saying, constant grinding can turn iron into a needle. But if you are grinding the wrong stone, you could grind your entire life and only produce dust. A story about Emily. A few years ago, I met a young woman named Emily. Emily sold skincare products online. Every day she went live on social media. She talked until her voice became hoarse. She answered hundreds of messages. Orders came in continuously. From the outside, everyone assumed Emily's business was doing great. But when the month ended, her actual profit was surprisingly small. She was constantly exhausted, irritable, confused. Emily believed the problem was simple. Maybe she wasn't working hard enough. Maybe she needed to go live more often. Maybe she needed to sell more products. So she pushed herself even harder. More live streams, more promotions, more effort. And the harder she worked, the more drained she became. Then one day something changed. Emily stopped. She didn't go live. She didn't sell anything. She simply sat down and asked one honest question. What pain are my customers actually feeling? That question changed everything. Emily remembered a close friend who had recently given birth. After pregnancy, her friend developed severe skin pigmentation. One day, her husband made a careless comment, a simple sentence, but it deeply hurt her. She began avoiding mirrors. She lost confidence. She felt invisible. And suddenly Emily understood something important. Her customers did not simply want a jar of skincare cream. They wanted something deeper. They wanted their confidence back. They wanted to feel beautiful again. They wanted to feel seen. So Emily completely changed her approach. She stopped live streaming endlessly. She stopped sending spam messages. She stopped selling dozens of random products. Instead, she began telling stories. Real stories, honest stories, stories about women who lost confidence and slowly rebuilt it. She spoke directly to people who carried the same emotional pain. And she sold only one product. No discounts, no bundles, no aggressive marketing. Just one clear solution. 3 months later, Emily's revenue quadrupled. Customers started finding her instead of the other way around. They didn't buy because of a discount. They bought because they felt understood. The difference between working more and working right. This is the difference between working more and working precisely. Most people fire randomly. Reverse thinkers aim carefully. Most people try to sell to everyone. Reverse thinkers focus on one specific group. Most people talk about everything. Reverse thinkers talk deeply about one thing that truly matters. People rarely buy because of a product. They buy because of a moment, when they feel someone truly understands them. How to work less but hit the target. So how do you work less but achieve more? First, choose a specific group of people. Do not try to sell to everyone. Sell to the people you understand the most, people you used to be, or people you know deeply. Second, understand their pain or dream clearly. The clearer the pain, the easier it is for your solution to resonate. The clearer the dream, the easier it is for your promise to feel believable. Third, and sell what they truly want, not simply what you happen to have. People do not buy courses, they buy promotion. People do not buy products, they buy a feeling. The formula is simple. One real problem, one precise message, one clear solution. That combination can produce extraordinary results. Most people spread themselves too thin. Reverse thinkers choose carefully. Most people do many shallow things. Reverse thinkers do fewer things, but much deeper. The bamboo lesson. There is a story about bamboo. For the first 5 years, a bamboo tree barely grows above the ground. People might assume nothing is happening, but underground, its roots are spreading deeper and wider, preparing, strengthening. Then in the 6th year, the bamboo suddenly grows dozens of feet within weeks. Working less but working precisely is the same. You are not rushing, but you are building the right foundation. And when the moment arrives, growth becomes explosive. The next trap, once you understand how to work precisely, another realization appears. Holding money tightly will not necessarily make you wealthy. In the next part, we will talk about a very familiar mindset, saving. Why saving money can make you feel safe, but may never make you rich. If you have ever carefully saved every dollar, yet still felt uncertain about the future, stay with me. And if something you heard today made you pause and think, leave a comment below. Sometimes a single thought can help someone else wake up at the right moment. From the time we were children, many of us were taught a very familiar lesson. Spend less than you earn. Save whatever is left. Put it aside for the future. Saving money is responsible. Saving money is safe. And yes, saving money is not wrong. But there is a truth that very few people talk about. Saving money can help you survive, but it rarely makes you wealthy. Many people spend their entire lives carefully collecting small amounts of money. They skip the extra coffee. They skip little pleasures. They deny themselves simple joys, always believing that one day their bank account will finally be large enough to give them peace of mind. But years pass, the savings grow slowly, and yet, life still feels the same. The problem is not the act of saving. The problem is the mindset behind it. Saving is about protecting money. Asset building is about using money to create new value. Saving asks one question: how can I spend less? Asset thinking asks a different question: how can every dollar I spend return with friends? Saving often carries a feeling of limitation. Asset building creates a feeling of momentum. A story about Jason. A few years ago, I met a young man named Jason. Jason worked as a delivery driver in New York City. Every day he completed more than 40 deliveries. Under the hot sun, through heavy rain, sometimes customers tipped $1, sometimes 5, occasionally even 10. For many people, those small tips would disappear immediately. Coffee, snacks, a quick treat after work. But Jason did something different. He placed every tip into a small box. At the end of each week, he moved that money into a separate investment account. The amount was not large, maybe $50, maybe $100. But instead of sitting idle in his wallet, that money began working. Jason started learning about index funds. He read about bonds. He watched financial videos. He kept a simple investment journal. 1 year later, Jason had accumulated more than $20,000, money that many people had already spent on coffee and fast food. But the most important change was not the money. The most important change was Jason's mindset. He realized that money could become a partner, not just something you protect, but something you deploy. Jason then used part of his savings to buy a phone and a microphone. He started recording videos online, simple videos. He shared tips about managing money for people with low incomes. Within 3 months, his channel reached 100,000 followers. Jason was still a delivery driver, but now he had a second stream of income, not from physical labor, but from ideas. The difference between saving and asset thinking. Saving keeps money still. Assets make money move. A saver protects money inside a safe. An asset builder turns money into teammates. Saving helps you stand still safely. Assets help you move forward. How to start building assets. Many people hear the word investing and feel overwhelmed. They think they need large amounts of money. But asset thinking does not begin with large capital. It begins with small decisions. First, separate your money. One account for spending, one account for saving or investing. No matter how small your income is, pay your future self first. Second, before spending money, ask one simple question. Is this a padron or an asset? A random snack is a kirchtamon. A book that expands your knowledge is an asset. Buying something out of boredom is a man. Buying a tool that helps you create value is an asset. Third, if you do not yet know where to invest in yourself. Skills, knowledge, experiences, relationships. Those are assets nobody can take from you, because money sitting quietly in your wallet or resting inside a low-interest account is slowly losing value every single day. Inflation never sleeps. Money is always working, either working against you or working for you. Reverse thinkers refuse to play the survival game of saving forever. Instead, they begin placing small bricks of assets, one at a time, building something that can eventually create long-term flow. And once you begin owning assets, life changes. You are no longer chasing every dollar. You begin to gain something far more powerful. Choice, the choice to work because you want to, not because you are afraid of running out. But as money begins to flow more consistently, another trap appears, a trap that catches many people who finally start making progress. The temptation to do everything yourself, to control everything, to believe that if you personally handle every detail, everything will be safe. And that is the moment when many people believe they are the boss. But in reality, their work becomes their boss. In the next part, we will talk about a crucial shift. The shift from doing all the work yourself to building systems that work without you. If you have ever felt so busy that you have no time left to think about your future, stay with me and leave a comment below. Are you currently saving money or have you started building assets? Sometimes the answer to that question is the first step toward changing everything. There is a strange feeling that many people experience when they first become their own boss. At first, it feels like freedom. You leave your job, you stop answering to a manager, you finally control your own time. But slowly, then, something unexpected begins to happen. Instead of working less, You begin working more. Morning, opening the store. Afternoon, processing orders. Evening, replying to customers. Night, creating content. Late at night, lying in bed, thinking about where tomorrow's money will come from. From the outside, it looks impressive. You are the owner, you are the boss, but in reality, you have become a one-person show. I once met someone exactly like this. His name was Daniel. Daniel owned a small coffee shop in Seattle. The coffee beans were selected by him. The menu was designed by him. The brewing style was his personal technique. Customers loved the place. People often said, "This coffee shop has soul." But after 2 years, Daniel began to feel something else. Exhaustion. He could not take a day off. He could not travel. He could not open another location. Because the moment he stepped away, everything began to fall apart. One day Daniel sighed and said something honest. "I thought I owned the business, but the business actually owns me." That was the moment he realized a painful truth. Owning a job is not the same thing as owning freedom. Most people believe they must personally do everything. Reverse thinkers understand something different. You must build something that works without you. Daniel decided to do something he had always been afraid to do. He let go. For 3 months, he documented every process. How to choose coffee beans, how to prepare each drink, how to greet customers, how to handle complaints. He trained a manager. Mistakes happened. They corrected them. Progress was slow, but Daniel remained patient. Then one day, Daniel took 2 weeks off, and something incredible happened. The shop stayed open, customers still came, everything continued running. For the first time in years, Daniel experienced a morning without worrying about whether his shop would survive the day. From that moment forward, Daniel no longer stood behind the counter. He stood behind the strategy. Soon he opened another location, not through personal effort, but through systems. The difference between doing work and designing work. Someone who does everything themselves can be talented, but someone who builds systems can become unstoppable. Doing work creates income. Building systems creates freedom. If you are doing everything, you are generating income. If you are building systems, you are creating time. And time is the one resource that cannot be replaced. How to start building systems. First, write down the tasks you repeat every day. Turn habits into processes. Turn instinct into instructions. Second, train someone earlier than you think you need to. Do not wait until exhaustion forces you to delegate. Third, change your role. From worker to designer. You are not simply the person packing orders. You are the person designing the customer experience. You are not simply the person hosting live streams every night. You are the person building a story people remember. If you are a chef, write recipes so clearly that others can recreate your flavor. Systems do not destroy uniqueness. Systems replicate uniqueness. And once your system is working, life becomes lighter. Money flows more consistently. Your mind becomes clearer. But when success begins to appear, another trap emerges. Fear. Fear of losing. Fear of making mistakes. Fear of trying something new. People begin holding on to everything tightly. Money, status, reputation, and that is where many people stop growing. The power of personal brand. Many people believe that building a personal brand requires perfection. They think they must be extremely skilled, speak perfectly, look impressive, become successful first, and only then appear in public. But that belief is one of the biggest misunderstandings in modern life. The world does not lack talented people. What it lacks are people willing to be real. Personal brands do not begin with perfection. They begin with honesty. I once knew a young woman named Lily. Lily had a speech problem since childhood. When she spoke, her words sometimes stumbled. People laughed. Some even imitated her voice. For years, Lily hated her own voice. She avoided cameras. She avoided speaking in public. She believed nobody would listen to someone like her. Then one day she asked herself a simple question. What if my imperfect voice is exactly what makes my story real? So Lily started recording videos. No filters, no artificial confidence, just honest storytelling. She spoke about life, her family, her struggles, moments when she felt invisible. Something surprising happened. People did not laugh. They listened. Because when you reveal your vulnerability honestly, you create a connection that perfection never could. The strongest personal brand in the world, that is the one that cannot be copied. And the one thing nobody can copy is your real story. People do not trust you because you are better than them. They trust you because they see themselves in you. Old thinking says you must look perfect. Reverse thinking says you must be real. People do not connect with logos. They connect with emotions, a trembling voice, an imperfect story, a genuine moment. Those things carry power. And once trust is built, you no longer need to chase every customer. The people who need you will find you, the final trap, trying to serve everyone. But when attention finally arrives, when another trap appears, many people suddenly try to expand everywhere. More topics, more products, more audiences, and slowly, by now, their identity disappears. The wider you spread, the thinner you become. Reverse thinkers do the opposite. They go deeper. They do not try to serve everyone. They serve one specific group extremely well. They do not talk about everything. They talk about one message until people remember it. I once saw a man selling iced tea on a street corner. He sold only iced tea. No snacks, no soda, just tea. Yet his stand was always full of customers. Because he was not selling tea. He was selling a place to pause, a place to breathe, a quiet moment in a noisy city. People remembered the feeling, not the price. Deep positioning does not require new products. It requires a new story for something familiar. When you go deep enough, you stop competing on price. You become irreplaceable. The question that changes everything. And in the end, all of these ideas return to a single question. A question reverse thinkers always carry with them. What if the opposite were true? When society says stability is everything, what if the opposite were explored? When everyone runs in the same direction, what if another path exists when everyone repeats the same strategy? What if something different is possible? This question does not promise instant wealth, but it gives you something more powerful. Freedom of thought. And once your thinking becomes free, your actions change. And eventually, your results change as well. Final message. Before this video ends, I want you to pause for a moment. Ask yourself 3 honest questions. Did you choose your career, or did society choose it for you? Did you design your income strategy, or are you repeating someone else's model? Is your current life something you truly want, or simply something you have learned to tolerate? Try writing down 10 questions that begin with, what if the opposite were true? You might be surprised, because sometimes the door that leads to your future was closed by your own assumptions. If this video made you think, leave a comment below. Share the idea that stayed with you the longest. Your words might help someone else who is quietly feeling stuck. And if you want to continue exploring ideas like this, subscribe to Mentivora Pulse, because the path less traveled is often the one that still has space for people who dare to see differently. Remember one final thing. You do not need to become perfect before starting a new path. You only need to begin questioning the one you are currently on. Many people believe success comes from trying harder, but lasting success often comes from trying in the right direction. You are not lacking ability. You may simply be climbing a ladder, leaning against the wrong wall. Reverse thinking does not tell you to destroy your life. It simply returns something that belongs to you. Choice, the choice to think differently, the choice to act differently, the choice to design the life you actually want. Because in the end, being the same as everyone else may feel safe, but only when you dare to be different do you truly begin to live.